Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Thursday, 10th July 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. 2 CARICOM states eye cargo aircraft to break trade barriers. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Regional leaders now face pivotal decision on long-discussed plans to expand maritime transport across the Caribbean. Prime Minister Mia Mottley was speaking at the opening of the 49th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government in Montego Bay.
CARICOM member states are moving to enhance transportation links with new cargo aircraft and ferry proposals aimed at improving trade and travel across the Caribbean. Speaking at the opening of the 49th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government in Montego Bay on Sunday, outgoing CARICOM chair and Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, announced that at least 2 member states are set to acquire dedicated cargo planes to address persistent logistics challenges that hinder the free movement of goods throughout the region.
The bottom line is, however, that there are still too many gaps. And the major issue of logistics, I am happy to report that there are at least 2 CARICOM member states that are now in the process of looking to acquire cargo planes to help us overcome the very difficult prospect of the movement of goods within this region.
Prime Minister Mottley says regional leaders now face a pivotal decision on long-discussed plans to expand maritime transport across the Caribbean.
I anticipate that at this meeting at Montego Bay, we will have the presentation on the inter-island regional ferry from the private sector. And at this point, it is up to us to determine whether we have the political will to finally ensure that we can democratize travel through ships yet again in this region, knowing full well that with the federal maple and the federal palm, there were examples of it many decades ago, and that we have allowed ourselves to become purely at the mercy of air travel without recognizing that as islands in the Caribbean Sea, we have the ability to reach each other in good time and at cheaper fares than if we only use air to connect our region.
Outgoing CARICOM chair and Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley.
Caribbean leaders have focused on improving regional security, enhancing food systems, combating climate change, and addressing geopolitical issues during the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM, held in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Ayana Carter of TTT News has more.
We live in a very different world from 1947. But if ever there was a time for regional solidarity, it is absolutely now.
The 1947 meeting among leaders of the British colonies laid the foundation for a regional integration movement, what we now call the Caribbean Community or CARICOM. Outgoing chairman of CARICOM and Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, in her speech at the opening ceremony of the 49th regular meeting of the CARICOM heads of government, spoke of the need for CARICOM leaders, now more than ever, to come together to build the institution as envisioned for the good of Caribbean people. Acknowledging the challenges of food security and agriculture within the region due to geopolitical issues, Prime Minister Mottley said CARICOM's agricultural commitment of reducing the Caribbean community's food import bill by 25% by the year 2025, though not fully realized, has placed CARICOM countries in a better position to establish new trading partners and self-sufficiency.
It is true that the actions of the United States government in their promise to impose tariffs on all Chinese-made ships created a catalyst for movement in a way that we could not find on our own. And if anything, we must thank President Trump and the U.S. Trade Representative for that.
Incoming CARICOM chair and Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, in his remarks, said leaders must focus on strengthening regional partnerships while establishing global ones. He expressed confidence in CARICOM countries' abilities to sufficiently provide for the needs of its people.
As we enter upon the new order which seems to be emerging in the world, that we must be strategic. We must strengthen our institutions. We must take responsibility for our own destiny, because that is the only way we're going to only really get it if we really want it.
Held under the theme People, Partnerships, Prosperity, Promoting a Secure and Sustainable Future, the emphasis is on discussions to improve regional security, enhance food and nutrition security, and steps to deal with the climate crisis. Prime Minister Holness assumed the 6-month chairmanship of CARICOM on July 1st. Ayana Carter, TTT News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Justice Winston Anderson has officially been sworn in as the 4th President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, during a ceremony in Montego Bay ahead of the 49th CARICOM Summit. This TTT News item has details.
Administered by Jamaica's Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen, the event brought together CARICOM leaders, regional judges, and past CCJ presidents. Justice Anderson, the first Jamaican appointed to the CCJ bench, called the role part of a regional effort to uphold justice, human rights, and sustainable development.
This moment is not mine alone. It belongs to all those who shaped my journey, which began in the quiet of rural St. Anne, the Garden Parish, in the heart of Jamaica. My upbringing was modest, but rich in lessons molding me into the person I am today. My community was one where values such as discipline, hard work, integrity, respect, and perseverance were taught by example. These lessons have lit the mileposts of my life from a young boy to today.
CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett said the presidency demands integrity, leadership, and sound judgment, especially in a rapidly changing world. Justice Anderson, who replaces Justice Adrian Saunders, has been with the CCJ since 2010. He's credited with delivering over 30 key rulings. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness hailed the appointment as a proud moment for the entire region.
You bring to this presidency a wealth of experience, including being the founding chairman of the court's educational arm, now known as the CCJ Academy for Law. Over the years, you have contributed significantly to the development of both the original and appellate jurisdictions, authoring key judgments that have strengthened the rule of law across the region. Your scholarly and judicial work continues to shape regional jurisprudence and inspire the next generation of Caribbean legal minds.
Dennis Gordon, a prominent PNP member, says the People's National Party will sweep the upcoming election while demanding the JLP to call the date. More in the CVM News item with Tevin Black out of Jamaica.
Will sweep the eastern region in the upcoming general election.
The People's National Party, PNP, has expressed confidence in securing victory in the upcoming general elections, a sentiment it echoed at a PNP divisional conference in Vineyard Town, St. Andrew. Region 3 chairman and councillor for the Maxfield Park Division, Dennis Gordon, told the supporters the PNP is gearing up to sweep eastern region of Kingston and St. Andrew.
It therefore means that Central Kingston will return home to where it belongs. Steve McGregor will deliver. East Rural St. Andrew will come with Peter King will deliver East Rural St. Andrew.
Gordon emphasized that the People's National Party is more caring to our children than the Jamaica Labour Party, as he referenced the latest deaths of neonatals at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. He's confident the PNP possesses the means to reduce premature child deaths more effectively than the governing JLP.
I saw the news today about 12 babies, 24 babies that passed. Your chairman has built the only Suma lab in the English-speaking Caribbean to prevent incidents like this. It is at 18.5 Linders Road. So, Dr. Tufton, wherever you are, see me, I can deal with it for you and the people of Jamaica.
Gordon mentioned that the pre-existing care displayed by the PNP towards constituents is what gives them the edge over the JLP.
It is the People's National Party that put people first. It is the People's National Party that care about our children, and we are ready to fix it. So comrades, whenever they sound the trumpet, and whenever he flies the gate, Region 3 is ready.
He's urging the Prime Minister to proceed with the election, adding the PNP is prepared to regain power. Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves harshly criticized the former St. Lucian leader Alan Shastany, labeling him as the worst Prime Minister this century, and mocked his opposition party's alliance as desperate, deepening regional political tensions. Shane Stephen of NBC Prime St. Lucia reports.
Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves didn't mince words when describing his St. Lucian counterpart Alan Shastany, as he labeled him the worst Prime Minister the Eastern Caribbean has seen this century.
When I see Friday bring Shastany here to help him out, forcing a meeting down in Roseau and then the press conference, that's when you know I'm desperate. Because Shastany is undoubtedly the worst Prime Minister in the Caribbean in the 21st century. And I could give chapter and verse about it. And in due course, you'll hear me give chapter and verse about it, because I like when he comes in Vince, and the Grenadines, because he give me license to my mouth about certain things. When I go to St. Lucia,
the Vincentian leader went further by suggesting the opposition parties' continual association with the former PM reeked of desperation.
Shastany could persuade anybody in St. Vincent to vote for Friday and the NDP. He had one chance to run St. Lucia. One single chance. And by the halfway term, people want to kick him out. They're just waiting to kick him out.
Minister Ralph Gonsalves took a sharp jab at the former St. Lucian leader, Alan Shastany, suggesting that Shastany's upcoming joint press conference with opposition figure Terence would backfire.
I said, but Friday is a silly fella. I gave the imagery of a Lakatan banana. Because, I will go to the folk I'm the son of a farmer, and I represent a farming constituency. And the trunk of the Lakatan banana tree falling down, and you want to chuck it up. You go for Chastity to chuck you up. Eh? That's a weak chuck. You think you have a chuck? And then you fall down. That's why you fall down and go inside the hole.
Gonzalez suggested that the whole crop is weak politically and structurally. Shane Stephen, NBC Prime.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.